With science and technology today evolving and improving at such a staggering rate, humankind has never known quite so much as it does right now. However, for all the breakthroughs that we've made, there still remain some massive unanswered questions, and some huge theoretical problems lurking on the horizon, if we ever answer them. This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question: why might proof of life after death be hidden from us?
Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content.
Although it isn't quite immortality on Earth, proof of life after death would trigger a monumental paradigm shift in the human story. As we are now, we know that all things must die, and the knowledge of our own inescapable death, at some point in the future, has been shown to be arguably the key influence over how we live our lives. Whether it's at the forefront of our minds or not, the knowledge that one day we will pass on is always with us. So take that knowledge away or dramatically alter our understanding of it, and you immediately change the human condition, what it is to be human. Consider it just for a moment. What would you do if you knew that actually this life isn't all there is? Would you worry less? Would you have fewer fears? Or would you try less and lose motivation? Would your appreciation of Earth go up or down? If you knew that really this planet was but a mere stepping stone along your path to the next place. There are variously more positive and negative directions that you might follow, but there's little doubt that certain confirmation of life after death would hugely change how people thought and behaved. Of course, for followers of various religions, the belief at least in some form of afterlife is nothing new. Many religions encourage their devotees to act and think in certain ways to better their chances of making a smooth transition from here to there once their death on Earth occurs. So far, however, all versions of the afterlife rely on faith, on a kind of collective trust and belief that the likes of heaven, hell, and limbo do exist, and that any one of our souls could be headed to any one of those places. However, while there are many compelling cases of near-death experiences, we've yet to have clear, undeniable proof from a scientific point of view that there is an afterlife waiting for us. If that proof were ever found, though, we're talking all of the rest of the non-religious world suddenly converted, and suddenly, definitely on course for the ever after. From there, whole industries and services could open up, for example, to prepare earthbound human souls for the afterlife that they now know is coming their way. Today, millions of people pay into pension funds in an apparent attempt to make their latter years of life as comfortable as possible. But now we'd be thinking even beyond that. Pension plans would turn into heaven plans, and there'd probably be less emphasis on building up your finances in them and more on building up other credentials to ensure your afterlife is the best it can be. On the surface, there's the potential for a majorly positive impact here, with an upsurge in good deeds and a downturn in reckless behavior. Scratch just a little deeper, though, and there are cracks to be exploited, because good deeds for the sake of good deeds don't really work. And while lessening reckless behavior is probably a good thing, might that mentality soon lead humankind to near total conformity for fear of doing something wrong and scuppering their chances of everlasting bliss? Clearly, the concept of a confirmed afterlife could be much more complicated than perhaps it seems at first, and integrating it into the everyday human experience might well be extremely difficult. So that's perhaps one reason why the government, or any controlling power, even a watching alien force as per the zoo hypothesis, would want to hide proof of life after death from us, for our own mental safety and for the preservation of the idea that life is precious. On the other side of the coin, however, and from a more cynical point of view, the ongoing presence of and threat of death could be seen as actually a vital tool for any controlling power, a tool that they wouldn't want to lose. Certainly, this criticism has been leveled at various religions throughout history. Opponents to them claim that the ideas of an afterlife, i.e., some kind of ongoing consciousness post-death on Earth, primarily serve to keep followers following. The physical death that we all know awaits us can be troubling to think about, but thanks to the afterlife, religions can offer a continuation of any one person's story. The end doesn't have to be the end. And this is an extremely powerful message. What would happen to religions then if the afterlife were confirmed? On the one hand, they will have been proven right, because this life now wouldn't be all there is. On the other, the need for faith will have immediately disappeared. And that could be a big problem for any authority that has essentially built up its influence based on the faith of the masses. International governments, too, and entrenched monarchies and orders of power are also guided and shaped by local or national belief systems. So what would happen to them if we were to prove life after death? Would their assumed authority change? At this point, it's obviously important to note that there is nothing by way of even a hint of evidence that life everlasting really is being hidden from us. In recent times especially, there have been countless scientific studies made into such topics as how to make the body immortal, what happens to our energy when we die, and where does our consciousness go when our body fails us. These are problems that science is trying to solve. It just hasn't quite managed to do so yet. But still, to imagine a future time when questions of life and death aren't so shrouded in mystery is to imagine a future time when certain pieces of knowledge really would be power. What do you think? Would the government or anyone else want to keep the afterlife hidden if it ever were proven to be true? Is the afterlife more effective as a concept relying on faith or as an inevitability that all of us know will arrive to? As is so often the case whenever we look into the really big questions of life, death, existence, and the universe, there's a blurring of the boundary between science and philosophy and ethics, between assured and definite thinking and murky, messy, emotive ideas. In many ways, the same debates can be had with regards to plain immortality. Again, on the surface, living forever feels like it should be a good thing. And it's little wonder that science and technology is so seemingly hell-bent on making it happen. But actually, there are many counter-arguments to immortality too, and there would no doubt still be people who would choose to die even in a world where you no longer had to. All versions of the afterlife differ from immortality because they still maintain that our time in this life is limited. Therefore, there is still a need for some kind of structure. And perhaps there is even a need for some kind of governance to ensure that as many people as possible pass through this mortal realm as well or as effectively as they can. Proof of the afterlife would certainly rock the boat and probably mess all of that up. Would calm or chaos unfold? Would life improve immeasurably or fritter away into meaninglessness? For now, and perhaps forever, it's a thought experiment only, rather than a real-world concern. And perhaps there are some reasons why proof of life after death, if it were ever found, might be kept hidden from us. But really, the most important takeaway from all of this should be to value the life we already know that we have. The lives we're living right now on Earth, across our current plane of existence. Proof or no proof, the afterlife can wait.
What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.